Okay, so this is going to be kind of like a soft test reading. Um, but before we test, I'm in my new place, and it's the first time I've gotten settled and clear enough to to do a reading. But I'm trying out this method, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to bring more long form readings back to the channel. Still figuring out so much. Okay, Tarot, my very old friend. As we're coming into this new chapter, into this fall season, I see that there's a lot of things that we've worked on and walked away from. There's the Page of Wands that fell out with the Six of Cups and Swords that came out. The Six of Cups is often depicted of sharing something very innocent. The Six of Swords is depicted of leaving stormy shores for something calmer. And in this page, he is in a very different situation from either of these. He's in something a little more barren. You could refer to this as like a sandbox. You know, a sandbox video game basically means you can do whatever you want in it. Minecraft, for example, is a sandbox game. So instead of something being predetermined like this stormy ocean or this farmland where the intentions of it are already laid, in this barren land, the page has the ability to make of it what he will. It doesn't have to be something that is predetermined or even known. The page may make something that they have never experienced before. And I love that because there's a lot of things that we've experienced that have purely taken away our power with the Hierophant in reverse. That which should be seen with respect, with a sense of awe, yes, but also praise. You're not just something that should be admired, you're something that should be worshipped. And I think in a way we should all worship a little bit of that inner divine that we have because we are God. We are God incarnate. We are God as part of this universe that we live in collectively. Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands all came out reverse. Ace of Wands, King of Pentacles came out upright. Eight of Pentacles reverse, yeah. The point of taking away this Hierophant's power was to take away so much of what you had worked for, so much of that which you had strived to push forward into the next life, into the next world. Because so many of these are queens. That's pregnancy, that's motherhood. And to see the king here just being a cocky little shit, ain't he? He's just being fucked over there. There was someone who truly benefited from you not giving your all to something. And I see that paralleled here. In this new place, I've realized I have a lot more time to do things like this. To if I didn't know quite what I was gonna do tonight. If I was gonna play a game, what I was gonna play, if I was just gonna journal or what. But I felt like I wanted to do this because I hadn't been able to do a reading like this in a very long time. Nine of Swords. You're probably one that would blame yourself for not doing as much as you think you should. If you're an ambitious person like myself, you look at every single thing that you did and wow, you're like, wow, I could have done that better. I should have done that better. If I had done that better, it would have turned out better. If I would have done that better, it would have done this better. No. Please do not get yourself stuck in that overanalysis paralysis and hyperfixation of if, cans, buts, must, and wants. You are part of the divine, and in such, you are a force of God in this world. But when we are human, we do that which we perceive as mistakes. And it's only perceived as mistakes if you are comparing it to something that you perceive as success. People can look at the exact same situation and be like, you know what? Now I know not to take that turn so hard because I could roll over. Or I know not to come around this area at this time because there's so much extra stuff going on, and I could just save myself a lot of trouble by going before or waiting a little bit and practicing some patience, practicing some pause, because action is not always the answer. Sometimes you do just need to step back and have inaction. It's the neutral gin. Kind of interesting that that came up. Excuse me, Ducky. Okay, Melumerians, Star Ancestors, New Blueprints. That's exactly what I was saying with the Page of Wands. Something brand new, something that you have not seen before, something that has not been thought of before, something that could only be created by the steps that you took to get to this point. Because Manifestia, if you were trying to bring something about, bring about a new life of abundance, bring about a new life of peace, but you hadn't done the steps to pull yourself out or even start pulling yourself out of what has caused you to feel the lack of abundance, the lack of peace, there is no room for what you want to come in. And Spirit knows better than to send a blessing into something that it could be corrupted. And so that's why when those tower moments happens, when those death cards are pulled and you see that change is imminent and you start to see the effects of it in your life, truly be appreciative in that moment because that is something being removed to make space for something that has been waiting its turn to come in and see you, waiting for its opportunity to be offered into your vessel because of course there's nothing that is absolute. Even as we speak with spirit today, there is so much that goes back and forth because free will changes from moment to moment. Endless opportunities, absolutely. You have endless opportunities. You have so many things that you could do. Like I was saying, was I going to journal? Was I going to draw? Was I going to play a game? What do you want to do? And even if you're just like, in this moment, what do I want to do? And allow that to change if you ask yourself again in 5 minutes that, like, what do I want to do? You know what? I want to get my coloring books. Let me go get some tea. Let me get relaxed. And when you get your tea and you come back to your desk and you ask yourself again, what do I want to do? And instead of getting your coloring books, maybe you turn on some music and you start journaling, or you get your own cards, or you put yourself in that one game that can make your mind go completely blank and you can just focus in the back of your head of what's going on. That's something that my mom does, and it's fucking amazing. She can turn on Minecraft or Sims and completely like tune out the rest of the world and just slowly unpack the problem that she has. So listening to yourself day to day, moment to moment, not only helps strengthen your intuition, but helps strengthen that alignment that you're feeling. We have Mount Shasta that came out here, Points of Power. This is an actual mountain in Arizona where there is a lot of alien activity. And of course, Lemurias are an alien species. They're one of my favorites to learn about. I personally think I have a connection to the little ow, ow, ow. There's a pain in my ankle. Things had been imbalanced for quite a while, and that's why everything's felt so weird because it's tried and had to exist in one way for so long. Reacting to a situation in a certain way, pushing through a situation in a certain way, moving through a situation in a certain way, taking on a certain role in a situation. You will wear different hats, you will play different roles, and your name will carry a different power. Maybe in this next chapter, you're not the person in charge. And maybe you're going to be really grateful for that because you've had to be responsible for so many other things. Or maybe in this next phase, you will be promoted into a place of power, into a place of authority. And you're like, okay, how do I do this? How do I assert authority without abusing it? How do I maintain what I have been doing and also learn all of these new things? It's going to be different for every single person, and please understand that also means it's going to be different for you every single day because you're not going to be the same person at the beginning of the week than you were at the end of the week because that person at the end of the week is forever changed by the things that they experienced during that time and what they chose to do in reaction to those experiences. You are never the same person. And when you allow yourself to be in a constant form of change, you can give yourself a little more forgiveness and a little more grace when you do something that someone would perceive as a failure, as a fuck up or a mistake. When you fumble, because you will fumble. We all fumble. But God knows I still do. I don't have it all just figured out. And it will be hard because you have never faced something like this before. Doesn't mean it's impossible. And it doesn't mean that you should compare the fact that you have never done this before with your ability to do something. Because you don't know until you know. I think I'm happy with that. I gotta see how the audio turned out and stuff. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.